Join us as we travel from Heathrow in London to Los Angeles, LAX. We decided to fly with Virgin Atlantic for the first time. They do advertise a very good service, and their terminal looks pretty impressive. So let's go give them a go.
So we just checked in with the Virgin Atlantic. It was pretty quick and very positive experience as well. We checked in the bags as we needed to be, so we are on our way to security and let's go with it.
Now, we travelled with our beautiful daughter Catherine. Now, this was her first flight, and we communicated this to Virgin, who helped us book a bassinet seat for her. Now, this was actually very positive. I have to say, the staff that you deal with that help you book tickets and everything like that, they are very accommodating, and they do give you good knowledge about what you can bring with the baby, which is surprisingly a lot. Having said that, the plane was beautiful and the seatings, no, they were very comfortable, to be honest. The special mention is that headrest, which you can actually fold according to your head, which is really quite comfortable. I found that it was quite a baby-friendly flight, to be honest. The people were very happy to help, and first thing they did was try to provide us with an infant life jacket and a belt for her. And I have to say, for initially, including takeoff, Catherine did deal with it quite well. She ended up putting the headphones on, which helped with air pressure on her ears, and it was all good. Now, this is where it started to get a bit disappointing. So, their meal service is not brilliant. Initially, when we took off, it was a little while before they provided some snacks, which is, I guess, normal. But what they offered was just some really weird corn snack and some Cokes, and the Coke cans are tiny, so you end up asking for multiple because you go through them in like a couple of sips. Having said that, the bassinet seats are brilliant, especially if you're traveling with a baby. You have that extra bit of leg room, and they do provide a decent service when they are constantly asking you for any thing that you need. Having said that, there is a weight limit on the bassinet, so just make sure that you've read up on everything like that, so that you don't put a baby that's heavier in there, so the baby's at risk. We did use the Vera system that they had, which is the screen. It's not the most intuitive or very friendly. This was extremely laggy, to be honest, and lag is not brilliant. You still get your standard lights and air conditioning vents, so nothing new there. But I have to say, the new plane that they have on this service is very nice. The seats are also very comfortable, enough leg room, shoulder room, thigh room, and you do get this annoying remote on the side, which you find that you often press accidentally when you don't want to. I found myself to be quite comfortable in the seat. Having said that, the fold away table thing that they have is quite awkward to use. Having said, it has like a mechanism, and you can get your fingers caught in it, so just keep an eye on that. My tray was not clean, so that made me think about how perhaps Virgin's cleaning crew is very, very lazy, or they just don't care about economy passengers. And this was actually confirmed when we tried to call an attendant for some help while it was dark, and we didn't get any. Now, in this case, the meal service arrived, and it looked interesting. That was the worst chocolate pot I've ever had in my life. It tasted like pretty bad. The salad was nice enough, but it's not enough of there. And then you have the actual meal itself. Now, I got the bangers and mash because I love bangers and mash, but it literally has one sausage in there, a little bit of mashed potato, and most of it was just this horrible brown gravy that didn't taste nice. It tasted really, really bad. And because of the fact that you're on a flight and you got your baby and everything like that, it's not brilliant. My wife did order the vegetarian, so we could try it both. This was a better option, if I'm honest, the vegetarian pasta, but again, not enough of it. Seems like Virgin does shortchange you when it comes to amount of food that they give you on the flight. This is probably the worst thing I've ever tasted. It tasted like, well, what's the word I'm looking for? Like saw. Imagine you have that, when you cut wood and you have those shavings. That's what it tastes like. It's absolutely dry, horrible. The filling in it was hardly anything in there. It was literally just eating two slices of bread. The Emmental, not really that tasty. The tomato, not really that nice. So their food service is horrendous. Having said that, there was a saving grace, which was this mile high tea. Now, you do actually get a decent scone in there, some jam, some cream, and decent sandwiches. So this was probably the best out of the whole thing. Having said that, yeah, their meal service is pretty terrible. Now, it's really a mixed bag, Virgin, if I'm honest. Yes, you get the new plane, you get a good service from the UK, where they're accommodating babies, and you can travel with a lot with the baby on board. Having said that, the overall Virgin service, in my opinion, is probably not up to the standard. They should review their food service. They should definitely concentrate more on their economy passengers, because they actually are the ones that are filling the planes. Having so it's a mixed bag. Find what's best for you, but for us, not that great. Don't get me wrong. I think Virgin is probably one of the best priced ones that we came across. We're taking into account the baby and everything like that. They were definitely on most comparison websites. We found that Virgin was the second best option. Taking into account that it's quite a quirky flight, they have nice music playing, the ambient lighting, and I think the seats are pretty comfortable. If you can do without the food service, which I think is probably the worst I've had in a plane, if I'm honest, then it's a good option. Having said that, I think if you keep price and the customer service aspect in the UK at least in mind, perhaps not in the flight as much, but and you are traveling with a baby, then this is a good option, because as far as the how much they care about Catherine, the bassinet service and everything like that was pretty decent. Yeah, it's just a mixed bag. If you can travel with another carrier, then that's probably something I would do if you're not traveling with a baby, because I think it just wasn't a good experience for us. And this wasn't the case just for going. When we came back, we experienced similar sort of service as well. It is pretty cheap, like not cheap, what's the word? Better valued. They are good. They charge you not a lot of money, and that I think should be taken into consideration. The fact that I'm a Virgin Red customer as well, which means that I got points for using Virgin Atlantic, which I think is a good thing as well. So if you are a points customer, then definitely does make sense. I don't know. It's weird because the flight was not enjoyable as such, but it wasn't a bad flight. Definitely, if the meal service is better, it would have changed my mood considerably. So I think that really is the Achilles heel. The food needs to be way, way, way better to be acceptable, and that's saying something. Another thing I would like to say is Virgin should definitely concentrate a little bit more on the economy passengers. I know we're paying economy and we're poor compared to the upper class and the premium economy people, but at the end of the day, these are the people that are buying all of your tickets. What I found funny was that the guy who was catering on my side and this is no word of a lie. He came up to me and said, would you like anything to drink? I said, yes. What do you have? And he goes, we could do Coke, water and everything. I was like, okay, I'll have a Coke, please. And then he literally just got me a can, and he threw it at me in my lap while I was sitting there. He threw it at me, which I found to be rude. Same with the Ian&Doll toasty. When he came, he didn't ask. He was just like, here's the toasty, sir. And he threw it at me, which I found to be ridiculous. Now, I'm not the one to create a scene. I can't be asked. Maybe he was having a bad day or whatever the case was, but it's just not up to standard, I'm afraid. Same when we pressed the attendance bell, nobody came to us for about half an hour. My wife just got frustrated and ended up going to the back herself. That's not brilliant. So perhaps our experience with Virgin was not great. Having said that, now because I do keep monitoring, we're not the richest people in the world, so we have to take money into consideration, especially when you have a family. So keeping a price and everything in mind, and the fact that it gave me Virgin Red points, which I can use, and the fact was that my baby was treated very nicely. Perhaps not me or my wife, but the baby was treated very nicely, and you do get a good travel allowance with Virgin if you're traveling with a baby. So keeping everything in mind, we probably will end up using them again, because I think we have to take all these factors into consideration. But if these factors are not something that you need to take into consideration, then it's not something I'm afraid I can recommend. Now, it might be the case that next time I fly with them, it's a better experience, but at this moment, with the experience we had, was not that great, and it's not something that we can recommend. So go and experience Virgin yourself. Hopefully you have a better experience. But unfortunately ours wasn't that great. So mixed bag.